D-Day was on June 6, 1944. Omaha Beach was one of the main landing points on D-Day and was located on the coast of Normandy, France. The U.S. Army troops were assigned the mission of taking Omaha Beach. On D-Day, the 29th Infantry Division, along with 8 companies of U.S. Rangers, were assigned to the western half of the beach. The United States 1st Infantry Division, also known as Big Red 1, was given the eastern half. The German force opposing the attacks was the 352nd Division.
Hey Zach, what's up? Oh! Hey Mr. Folks class. Dude, I'm the blue guy. Alright. The initial assault was to be made by 2 combat teams, supported by 2 tank battalions and 2 ranger battalions. Each combat team consisted of about 1,000 men. Each tank battalion had 48 tanks, and each ranger battalion had 195 men. The landings were scheduled to start at 6:30 or H hour. The objective was for the beach obstacles to be removed by H+2 hours, or 8:30. Once this was completed, the men were supposed to regroup and continue the battle in companies.
The assault force expected to complete the Omaha Beach invasion was over 34,000 men and 3,300 vehicles. These would be delivered and supported by 125 Navy ships. Despite all of the preparations, very little went according to plan. 10 landing crafts were lost before they reached shore because of the rough seas. As the boats got closer to shore, they were hit by heavy artillery fire, sniper fire, and machine gun fire.
As infantry disembarked from the landing craft, they found themselves on sandbars 50 to 100 yards out. Before they could even reach the beach, they would have to wade through the water, sometimes neck deep.
I was the first one out. The 7th man was the next one to get across the beach without getting hit. All the ones in between were hit. That's how lucky you had to be. Captain Richard Merrill, 2nd Ranger Battalion.
Alright men, stick with me and we'll get through this alive! Open the gate!
Most sections had to brave the full weight of fire from mortars, artillery, and small arms.
Big Red 1 was facing similar situations on their beach. One of the main issues on D-Day was the inaccurate landings caused by the strong current. Only 2 of the landing crafts landed where they were supposed to. One was taken so far off course that it didn't land for an hour and a half. Ah.
Where the hell are we? This doesn't look like France.
Guys, there's 7 of us, and only enough food for 6 people. What are we gonna do?
Well, I fixed the food problem.
He killed Johnson. The engineers were also off target. Although they landed in the wrong spot, they began their mission destroying beach obstacles.
This was made difficult by soldiers hiding behind obstacles they were blowing up. And enemy fire settings off the explosives too early. The engineers suffered 40% casualties.
Eventually, a small group of survivors found a protected area and began an assault on the bluffs. They were the only group in the first wave that was able to operate as a unit.
Everyone else was disorganized by the missed landings. Many were leaderless and pinned down with no hope of completing their mission.
The second wave was the next to land. The only thing they had going for them was that now the enemy's fire was spread out between more targets. They faced the same issues with heavy fire and missed landings that the first wave did.
However, one group's missed landing actually saved their lives. They landed far off to the side of the beach and were almost alone. There were very few Germans opposing them, and they reached the sea wall with very few casualties.
Reinforcements followed soon after. After the second wave, things started to change. With the group functioning on the wall, they began to destroy the German forces.
Groups continued to attack the wall throughout the day. By nightfall, all the exits off the beach were opened and the D-Day mission was complete. Throughout the day, Omaha Beach alone, America lost 26 artillery pieces, over 50 tanks, about 50 landing crafts, and 10 other ships.
We lost 2,300 tons of equipment. There was an estimated 3,000 soldiers dead or wounded, and only 5 of the 96 tanks were able to be used the next day.
The end of D-Day marked the beginning of a very long war.
I could just kill a man!